Hello, Carver! Welcome to another episode of On the Air. You know, the show that informs, educates, and entertains. And we're right here with you for CCAT. I am Ken Simmons. Awful glad to be with you again. I hope you enjoyed the show on the Mayflower. I did. It was fantastic. Unbelievable. I'd do that again in a second. In a heartbeat. It was great fun. Today, we are going to bring to you a subject that's been bothering me for a long time. In a community not far from here, a couple of years ago, and it's an over 55 community, and a couple of guys own motorcycles. Well, there was a bylaw or a rule or a regulation that you can't have bikes in that community. You can have them there. My sons, both bike riders, you can have them there, but you can't keep them overnight. So you had to find somebody to get in their car while you took your bike to a friend's house or somebody's garage. One guy paid $40 a month just to store his bike. Well, that's not really not worth it. So that bothered me. So I asked a couple of the people in this community if they'd come on TV with me and kind of explain it. Why such a hard rule? Well, you know what the answer was? And this is what kind of got me going. The answer was, if we allow bikes in here, we'll have rivers of beer, barrels of whiskey, naked women, rock music at midnight. And we don't want that. And I said, wow, where have you been? Bikers do a lot of good. Bikers do things you don't even know about. That's just not true, what you said. Well, again, nobody would come on TV with me. And I said, where can I find somebody that knows bikes? And I racked my brain and I asked this one and I asked that one. And suddenly, a couple of weeks ago, I said to myself, I know the guy. He's honest. He's trustworthy. And I've known him since he was a kid. I know that he'll tell the truth. Not only that, he's president of a motorcycle club. And I'll let him tell you more about that. And not only did I know him since he was a kid, and he was a biker, he was a born biker, I knew his mother. And no more credible woman ever lived in this world. I want you to meet my son, Brian Simmons, and I want you to meet his friend and colleague, Lance
Lamborghini.
I would have said that, but I would have screwed it up bad. These guys, he's the president of a motorcycle club called the Iron Trinity, am I right?
Correct.
And you're the treasurer.
That's correct.
How long have you been president, Brian?
7 years.
Enjoying it?
Very much.
Is it an elective office?
Yes, it is.
Every year?
Every 2 years.
You're elected every 2 years?
Yeah. This year I'm up for election, actually.
I'm proud of you. That's
Thank you.
great. That's great. And you're the treasurer?
Yep.
Also an elective office?
Yes.
And how often?
Every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
I've been in for about a year and a half now.
Are you enjoying it?
Love it.
That's a very responsible office, the
I
treasurer.
take care of all the finances,
take
pay
care
all
of
the
the
bills, collect all the money.
Is there a lot of money involved, Lance?
I can't really say, but
Okay. I want to point out here that I will ask some questions that they can't answer. Not that it's an underground club or anything like that. It's just that it's not for public information. So let's talk about what you do that's good. Let's show these people that bikers are not beer swilling, whiskey drinking, women chasing nuts.
Yeah, that's the fallacy that we've already tried. That's why we wanted to come on the show with you. That's the fallacy we're trying to defeat. Too many people think that. Too many movies, too many television shows like The Sons of Anarchy and so on. I'm not saying that's a bad show. It's a great show, but it's not true. You can't believe everything you see in fictional TV. So
I think the movie The Wild One didn't do the bikers any good
that's
either.
one of the first ones that caused the problem.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep.
Have you seen it?
Yes, I have. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Great movie.
But it's just not true nowadays. Maybe back then. I think I was made in the 50s and I wasn't alive back then, but
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was a great movie.
Yeah, but
You think she slept with seven dwarfs? I don't believe it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So just as an example, I brought this with me. This is comes from a website called New England Bikers, and they publish all the runs and charity events and non-charity events that are run throughout the course of the year, so that people can find the ones they want to go to and pick from. This, I just printed out June, July, and August, and I pulled out any fun rides. These are all just charities, and there's 52 pages of rides with 8 or 10 rides on each page.
Holy man.
And those are all charity events. They all take place on Saturdays and Sundays.
Can you people sitting at home see how thick this is? This is unbelievable. And this is just for June, July, and August?
Just June, July, and August. September, October, and November are very busy months. There's toy runs. I'm sure people are familiar with toy runs. There's a lot of toy runs that take place in November and
Toy runs.
October.
What do you mean toy?
Toys for Tots is a Marine Corps group that's been around for a long time. And the Marines started collecting toys for underprivileged children. And so I don't know how many years ago, quite a few years ago, bikers got involved with Toys for Tots. And all we do is it's just an excuse to go for a ride. Everybody buys a new toy and they strap it to their motorcycle and they'll go on a scenic ride somewhere and deliver the toys to a truck where the Marines take them off our hands and deliver them to the kids that need them.
Oh, what a great idea.
Yeah.
What a great idea.
It's an awesome thing.
Now, he's the treasurer. Where do you get your money from?
Various events that we put on, raise money for the club. We have dues every month, like most clubs do.
Oh, so the bikers pay dues?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Do you have contributions?
We donate a lot
But do
to
you-
other
If
causes.
somebody wanted to contribute to your club, could they do that?
They could if they wanted to.
You seem very offhanded about that. Is it something
Not too many
you
people
don't
donate
want?
money to the motorcycle clubs.
But why not?
Sometimes we'll put on like we did a dinner at a local bar that we hang out at, and we got a beautiful salted pork dinner during St. Patrick's Day. And we invited a lot of clubs, a lot of people. It was very successful. We raised a lot of money. We actually gave a donation to the SCMMSF, which we'll talk about later. So we do make donations ourselves. And the same thing as raising money for us also. So we do both.
Okay, so you do put on events. Can civilians go to that? Could I go to that?
Anybody can go to it.
Okay. Do you advertise it?
We advertise Boston Biker, word of mouth, Facebook. Social networking is huge. We have our Facebook site, we have our regular website, and we send out emails. You'd be surprised how many people you can reach on Facebook alone.
Yeah, I'm sure. There must be thousands of them.
We
Thousands.
do have a website, www.irontrinitymc.org.
Okay, I was just going to ask you that. That's up there, right? I hope that everybody can see
Yep.
that sitting at home. What's your latest charity event? What's coming up? What's in the near future?
Well, one of our biggest rides of the year is coming up the end of September 22nd. That's a ride called Morgan's Ride. We've been involved with that since its second year through a friend. We got to meet the parents of Morgan and Morgan herself, and just as soon as you meet Morgan, you fall in love with her. She's a sweet girl, and her parents are very, very personable, very friendly people, and you can't help but like them. And we just got involved with the ride. In the past few years, we just go there and volunteer. We serve hamburgers and hot dogs, and we go on the ride, and we make sure everybody's having a good time. We sell T-shirts, and it's one of our 3 mandatory rides for our club every year, where every member's expected to show up.
Would you call yourself a charitable organization?
No, probably not. But we do a lot of charitable events. But we don't exist for charity. We exist to have a good time. It's a brotherhood, and that doesn't mean to say that women aren't involved. We have associate memberships that are called the Iron Sirens, and those are the ladies that are involved with our club. They're very involved. I mean, you know, as a married man, that you can't do much of anything without the support of your wife, or a good woman behind you.
Amen to that.
It's unbeatable, and they pitch in and help as much as humanly possible. Some of the Iron Sirens ride their own motorcycles, and some are passengers. It doesn't matter. You want to be an Iron Siren, you qualify, you have to get voted in, and you're in.
Is your lovely wife an Iron Siren?
And she is. She's co-chair of two women are chairpersons of the Iron Sirens, and she's co-chair.
Are you married, Lance?
Yes.
Is your wife an Iron Siren?
Yes, she is.
No, that's great.
She rides on the back.
That's great. That's great. I often see these ladies on the back of a bike, and I often, how can they get up the courage to do that? I can't even get a lady in my car. Anyway.
I would agree with you, by the way. I've ridden on the back of bikes. I don't care for it. But you have a good passenger on the back. You don't even know they're there. And sometimes they can almost fall asleep. They're that comfortable on the back.
As long as you brought that up, there's a funny story about you and your wife up in Laconia. Do you recall the story I'm thinking of? Where she was supposed to be on the back and you went down the street?
We went to...
This is funny. I think this is funny.
We were up at Laconia and we were stopping at a place to have lunch. And we pulled into a small area where I thought we could put the motorcycle and park it. And just as I was parking, she hopped off so I could back into the spot. It's just easy to back up that way. And someone came out of the restaurant and said, "I'm sorry, but you can't park the motorcycle there." No problem, that happens. You couldn't park a car there either. So I'm like, fine, all right. So I put my helmet back on and I put the bike in gear and I took off to the end of the road, which was maybe 100 yards. Looked both ways to go out onto the main street. And I turned my head this way, and then out of the corner of my eye, I looked. She wasn't on the back. That's the kind of passenger she is. She's pretty much invisible on the back. And I looked back, and she's standing at the end of the street going.
That's funny. That's funny. And knowing her as I do, that would be a funny.
Yeah.
Have you got any funny situations that would happen with you and your wife, maybe?
Not that I can think of. Of course, it happens every day, so.
For the sake of the sake of credibility, what do you do for a living?
I'm a business analyst for a defense contractor.
Upper management?
Yeah.
Lance, what do you do for a living?
I'm a self-employed contractor, remodeling contractor, primarily in the Sagamore Sandwich area.
How long have you been self-employed?
Since 1985, so going on 29 years now.
God, you don't look 29 years old.
I just turned 50. Well, I turned 51 this year.
No kidding. I just said this because these guys hold responsible positions in the community they live in. These are not beer-swilling guys. I mean, this is my kid. I know he takes an occasional beer. Who doesn't? But these are not beer-swilling guys or woman chasers. They're very happily married men who, because they have bikes, decided to do some charitable work. Now you're you're part of a bigger club than you are.
Yes.
I'm having a little problem here because they will not divulge how many members are in their club for whatever reason. But they are members, or there's a coalition, right?
Yes.
And you can't even mention how many in that coalition. Are they nationwide?
There's coalitions in every state.
Separate from yours?
Yes. Yeah, there are coalitions of motorcycle clubs in almost every state. Not every single state has a coalition, but most do.
Worldwide?
I don't know about worldwide. I know nationwide.
Is it growing?
Yes.
Is there still a Hells Angels?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Is it okay to talk about the Hells Angels?
Not with me.
No. They still have a bad reputation then?
We can't comment on
Yeah,
that.
I don't really
Okay.
have anything to say about them.
I
I'll say this: I have all the respect in the world for every motorcycle club that's out there, because to get into a motorcycle club is not easy. You have to do. There's 3 steps. You have
Well,
to
tell
become
me
a-
about that,
You
yeah.
have to become a hang-around, which is just exactly what it sounds like. You have to be a hang-around. Come to where we hang out, have a beer with us, talk to us, get to know us a little bit. Then the second step is to become a prospect. And a prospect can be anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. And a prospect is someone who wears a portion of the back patch that's on our vests, and they wear, instead of a name tag, they wear what it says prospect. And they have to earn admittance to the club. Some clubs are tougher than others, but in no club is it easy. It's not easy to become a full member. The next step is to become what's called a full patch member. Anybody that becomes a full member of any motorcycle club earned it. You don't just go out on the internet and buy a patch and become a member. Not in a true motorcycle club.
I'm glad you told me that, because I didn't realize that. I didn't know that. I thought I just buy a bike and I say, I want to join your club, and here's your $10 and that's the end of it.
Absolutely not.
Wow.
Not our type of motorcycle club. Any motorcycle club that you see that has the letters MC on the back of it, and it's a 3-piece patch, a top rocker, a bottom rocker, and a center patch, that's a difficult club to get into. And any club, whether it's any club you just mentioned or any other club, that those that have membership, you worked very hard to get there, and you got to respect these guys.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I'm glad you brought that up. Do you have headquarters someplace?
Clubhouses. Usually it's a clubhouse.
And do you have a clubhouse?
We don't yet. We're working towards
Okay.
that.
All right. This Morgan's Run that you mentioned, can you elucidate a little bit more?
Other than what I already said about when we first met Morgan a few years ago, she's got an extremely rare illness, and it doesn't get the funding that it should because there aren't enough people that have it. We've all heard of diseases and illnesses like that don't get the proper funding because there aren't enough people impacted by it. But all you have to do is meet one person that's impacted by a particular illness or disease, and that's enough. That you don't want to see anybody go through the potential for these diseases. We met these people, got friendly with them, couldn't help ourselves, just fell right into it, and it's one of the easiest things we've ever done. I don't care that I'm cooking hamburgers for 300 bikers that want the hamburgers now and they want them hot. Doesn't bother me one bit. I do it. I'll do it every year for them as long as they do this ride.
I think that's fantastic. You and I have talked about Morgan off camera, and I know how you feel about her. I can tell how he feels about her. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
We're going to have them on just a little bit later. Is there anything else you'd like to say about your club or about what you do?
Well, the other thing that Lance mentioned a couple of minutes ago was the SEMMSF, the Southeastern.
Slow down just a bit. Say that again.
SEMMSF. That's the Southeastern. SEMSF, that's right.
Yeah.
Southeastern Massachusetts Motorcycle Survivors Fund. That's the one and only charity that we go to every year that is purely for motorcyclists. What that is if a motorcyclist gets into an accident through no stupidity of his own, he's not drunk or on drugs or anything like that, and he gets hurt or even killed, this fund, which was created in memory of a firefighter named Brian Mello, gives the family money for whatever they need. Electric bill, funeral expenses, whatever it may be. And that's...
I'm also the treasurer of that.
Yeah, he's the treasurer.
I'm on the board of directors of that organization
That's a big
as well.
responsibility. You folks sitting at home now, we've gone on for, I don't know, what, 15 or 20 minutes. Do you see the difference? Do you see any beer swilling, whiskey guzzling guys here? I don't. I see guys that are compassionate. I see guys that are pretty hard-nosed. They wouldn't take any baloney, so just don't make any mistake about that. But they do so much good. That book is thick. At my age, I wouldn't start reading that because I'd never finish it. This is what they do. So, what's all the problem with bikers? Oh, I know that you're in traffic and stopped, and a bike goes in between you and the car next to you, and that kind of ticks you off a little bit because they're able to make time and you're not. That would tick me off too. But they're a nice bunch of guys, I'll tell you that. You know, I realized this probably 20 years ago when my wife and I were down here in Plymouth. We lived in another town then. We were down here in Plymouth because my son was riding. He wasn't a member of a club then, I don't believe.
No.
And they were just doing some charitable work because they felt like doing it. And I saw about 300 or 400 bikes. And I looked at these guys with their crazy helmets on and their long hair and the this and that. And I went up to one guy and I said, "Excuse me, what do you do for a living?" He said, "I'm a lawyer." I said, "You're a what?" He said, "I'm a lawyer in my off time. When I'm not riding my bike, I'm a lawyer." I said, "When you're riding your bike, what are you?" "I'm a lawyer." And there was a doctor and a dentist and guys like Brian in upper management, guys like Lance, who would do anything for you. Is there any way that if somebody needs some charitable work, they can call you or email you or?
Absolutely. Yep. www.IronTrinityMC.org. If we can help out, we'll help out.
So you're open to that. Now, when somebody joins your club, do you give them a check? Is there a, what do they call it, RICO?
No, we get to know them in time. And if we find out anything bad about them, then it'll come out.
And you know, a guy can't really hide his true nature for
Yeah.
long.
Exactly.
He can hide it for a little while.
That's why there's those 3 steps. It gives you a good chance to get to know.
Yeah,
the
we just don't let anybody in the club. I mean, our club, the way we do things, you know, integrity, honor, loyalty, respect, responsibility, all those things are high priority in our club. And if you don't show those characteristics, we don't want you.
You been a biker all your life?
I've been on a motorcycle since I was 11.
Wow. And I know you've been on some form of two-wheel vehicle since you were about 11.
9 years old, my first one.
Really, 9 years old.
Yep, 46 years.
I had coffee with a guy at Honeydew Donuts the other day. He came in. He had a pigtail, and I'm going to estimate his age at 75. And he parked a Harley out there, brand new Harley, out there. And I said, "Are you a biker?" "Yeah, why?" No, my son's a biker. So? I said, "I just want you, at your age." "What about my age?" I said, "Well, isn't it dangerous?" He said, "Driving a car is dangerous. Getting married's dangerous." He said, "Yeah, it's dangerous if you're a dummy. But I've been driving bikes since I was 12 years old. And I don't no intention of quitting."
Yeah, I have no plans on stopping.
What is there about a bike? Is somebody compared it to the old cowboys and their horses?
It's freedom. It's just absolute pure freedom. When you're in a motorcycle, you smell and see and hear things you'll never smell and see and hear in a car. Whether it's the earth after a rainstorm, or flowers in the spring, or the leaves in the fall, whatever it is, you can smell all those things and you can hear them, and it's just pure freedom. There's nothing like a curvy, windy road on a warm summer day on a motorcycle. As soon as Lance came to my house tonight, he got off and he just got off his bike and just went, "Look at this. What a day." You can't, there's nothing like appreciating a beautiful day like this
I can
on a
understand
motorcycle.
that.
There's nothing like it. And I understand people being afraid of it. You got nothing around you. I understand that, but, and this is a fact, this is a little known fact, you are 3 times as more likely to get in a fatal accident in a car than on a motorcycle per capita.
Now, wait a minute.
Per
Now,
capita.
wait a minute. Is
It's a
that
fact.
true?
If you take 1,000 motorcycles and 1,000 cars, you're 3 times more likely to have a fatal accident in a car.
Is that right?
Generally speaking, on a motorcycle, you get thrown clear. You might get hurt, but you might not die. 3 times more likely per capita. That's I know there's way more cars than there are bikes.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that's not even what we're here for. It's
No,
just
it's an interesting fact. And
Yeah.
what we're here for is to dispel the myth that bikers are a bunch of radicals, a bunch of criminals, hoodlums. They're not. They really are not. Give them a break, will you? I see signs. Motorcycles are everywhere. Let me ask you, is that a sarcastic sign? Like, motorcycles are everywhere.
Yeah, underneath that, motorcycles are everywhere. It says check twice, save a life.
Thank you for
Which
that.
comes to our next point. You want to know what really we don't like and what makes us mad is people in cars texting, playing on their phone. There's nothing more that aggravates us. To go by and be tooling along the highway, look out, and there's someone down there doing this, going like this.
Good for you, Lance.
You know,
I'm glad you brought that up.
we've had, I think, 9 fatalities this year so far.
Wow, in Massachusetts.
Yeah, I'm not saying it was all because of texting, but it's a huge problem out there.
Can you text on a bike?
No, I'm not sure, an idiot.
Your partner can behind you.
Yeah, well, in a bike, generally you got two hands on that bike, so there's nothing you can do with your hands except take care of yourself.
Pay attention.
Yeah, it's all about paying attention.
You live in Carver, Brian?
Yes.
Lance, where do you live?
Right under the Sagamore Bridge. Right in Sagamore.
Under the Sagamore Bridge, are you homeless?
Well, haven't been thrown out yet. But.
No, I just wanted you people to understand that this guy's from Carver, a very well-respected member of the community. I know that I'm awful glad to have him for a son. I got 2 sons, by the way, in case the other one sees the show. I got to say I love him too. I love them both night and day, but they're great guys. They're great guys. Okay, you were talking about a run for Morgan.
Yep.
And I happen to know that you brought her here with you.
Yep.
So we're going to put her on camera. She's very shy, and if she doesn't want to speak, then that's okay with me. That's fine. But her mother's here, And just for the few minutes I've known her, I can tell she's a loudmouth. So we shouldn't have a problem there. So have you got anything? We're going to take a break. And we're going to get you guys out of your seats and put those two lovely people. Have you got anything you'd like to say before we take that break? To people that are opposed to motorcycles or have anything to say about motorcycles? Do you ever get any personal stuff? Anybody say anything to you about, why don't you shove that bike up your nose? Or?
Well, some people get some of the rides we do. The biggest ride we do every year is the Boston Wounded Vets Run. That's in Boston. And it's a big ride, and there's 4,000, 4,500 motorcycles there, and it's all for vets. We do a lot of events for veterans, a lot. And we get some garbage from some people because when this run, the police are involved, and they block off anything that might come into the run that we're doing. So people may have to sit in their cars for 10 or 15 minutes, literally, waiting for these bikes to go by. Some people get ticked off. We got some postings on Facebook saying, that our carbon footprint is gigantic, that why don't we do something good instead of bad. And people don't realize what we're doing. Well, I can guarantee you, if you see that many motorcycles, 200, 300, up to 4,500 motorcycles, they're doing a charity cause. And just give us a minute. We'll be out of your way. Get out, wave, take pictures. You can see a lot of that too. With 4,500 bikes go by, people get out of their cars, and I don't know where they come from, but all of a sudden they've got flags and they're waving the flags, and some people know what we're doing. They know that there's a reason for what we're doing. We're not heading to a pig roast. We're doing something for wounded vets, and it's a good cause. And if you meet a biker on the street, go up to him and say hi. Chances are he's going to talk your ear off.
Yeah, chances are. You talk about wounded vets. There's another story that comes to mind, and that's I forget what they call them now. These people that heckle funerals for veterans.
Yeah, the Westboro Baptist Church.
Westboro Baptist Church. You probably have heard of that. And I'm not here to run down any church or any religious organization, but in case you didn't know it, they go to wounded dead veterans and hassle you tell the story.
The Westboro Baptist Church goes to funerals for deceased veterans, and they heckle them, saying that God is glad that they're dead and God loves dead veterans and things like that.
Imagine that.
They walk and they stamp on the flag, spit on the flag,
Wow.
our flag, and it's pretty horrendous. Anyone who doesn't have any self-control would have a hard time there.
Yeah,
Another
I'm sure.
group we belong to, and almost every member of our club is in it, is the Patriot Guard Riders. They also have a website if anybody wants to look it up. And what we do is we go to these veterans' funerals, and all we do is we peacefully line up with an American flag and prevent the Westboro Baptist Church from getting anywhere near the family. Not through any kind of physical contact, not any violence or anything like that. We just stand in the way. We make a human blockade. And it doesn't matter who the veteran is. We just recently did a World War II vet. Doesn't matter if it's Afghanistan, Iraq, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, World War I. If the family wants the Patriot Guard Riders there, we'll be there.
What can I say? That kind of thing impresses the heck out of me, because I think a lot of our veterans. I'm a veteran myself. To see this Westboro Baptist Church heckle the family of a dead soldier or a Marine or whatever he is, and nobody's standing up against that except you guys. I think that's terrific. Anything else you'd like to say, Lance, to the people watching now?
Just got to put in perspective. I mean, there's bad apples in every bushel.
Yeah.
And it's the same with everything in life. Same with bikers. For the
Yeah.
most part, we're all good guys.
Yep.
We don't like to take BS from people, but I mean, we're very charitable. We give you the shirt off our back. It's all about respect. It's a brotherhood, and it's a good bunch of guys.
I can tell from your bare arms you gave your shirt off your back to somebody just a little while ago.
Yeah. I just picked this up in the dumpster. So.
Hey, thanks guys for being here. I really appreciate this. And we're going to see that Morgan's Run. I think we're going to go there and take some pictures.
Great.
And maybe we'll have another little session. Was it so bad? You said you were nervous. Was it so bad?
No.
No, once you get going, it's a piece of cake. We're gonna break now, and we're gonna have Morgan and Christine, her mother, come here and sit down with me. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back. We're back. It's me again, Ken Simmons. Sorry about that, but it's the best I can do. I'm sitting here now with two gorgeous, beautiful, enchanting, lovely young ladies. This is Morgan, and this is her mother, Christine. Hi, Christine.
Hi.
Hi, Morgan. You don't have to say hi. I know you don't want to talk. It's okay. It's all right. I love you anyway. You heard us talk about Morgan's run that they're going to do on September 22nd, I believe, of this month. And we'll have more on that for you. But I'd like you, Christine, if I may, how did you meet these two guys that were just on? How did you meet that more? Are you a biker?
I am not.
You are not?
No.
Is your husband?
No.
So how did you meet these great guys?
We met them at one of Morgan's rides a couple years ago that had started. And we
Wait,
quickly...
can I stop you just a minute?
Sure.
One of Morgan's rides with these guys?
They were at one of Morgan's rides in the
Okay.
beginning.
Okay.
This is the 5th year for Morgan's ride. So we probably met them at I met Lance at the first one, and I met Brian at the second one. And we became friends and talked, and they come out every year to Morgan's ride.
What is Morgan's ride all about?
Morgan has one of the rarest no medical conditions in the world. There is 700 people with it in the entire world. It is where Morgan's muscles, tendons, ligaments, and connective tissue turn to bone. And it is a progressive condition, and any trauma will set off a painful flare-up or a virus.
It's painful then?
It can be extremely painful, yes, depending on if bone that is growing is like bridging a joint, which will immobilize her completely down in the future.
Wow.
Yes.
How old is Morgan?
Morgan is 9, soon to be 10 years old.
I'm only talking to Morgan through her mother because Morgan has said before we came on camera that she didn't want to talk. Have you changed your mind? No. Do you have a boyfriend? See, she's not talking, she's shaking her head back and forth. I wish I could think of a question that didn't require a yes or a no, and maybe something would come out of that pretty mouth. I love your earrings. How old is she, Ken?
She's 9.
9 years old. Goes to school every day?
Yes.
And because it's so rare, is it covered by insurance? I hate to be crass, but I like the people to know what you're going through.
Morgan's Ride, what it does is it raises money
Yeah.
that we put into the Morgan Fund, which is essentially a supplemental needs trust for Morgan's future needs.
Okay.
As things may have to be covered that is not covered by insurance. We also, through that, make a donation for research. Because it's so rare, there is no money for research.
Now, I have to interrupt you because
Sure.
if I don't, at my age, I forget what I was going to ask you.
Okay.
Morgan's Fund, is that a fund that's administered by somebody?
It's a supplemental needs trust. It's not
But
like a charitable
Is there an
organ.
administrator?
No.
Or are you the administrator?
No, it is controlled by my mother and my sister. And it's to be used for medical expenses only.
Where do you live, Christine?
I live in East Bridgewater.
East Bridgewater. If somebody would like to contribute to the Morgan Fund, is that a possibility?
Yes. We have a P.O. box that they can mail us
Do you
a
have
donation.
a website?
I don't have a website.
I was going to ask for your email address, but I don't want that. That's too dangerous in
Yeah.
this day and age. Are you on Twitter or Facebook or any
The
of that?
Morgan's Ride is on Facebook.
Morgan's Ride on Facebook.
Yes.
Interesting. I would like in my own feeble way to do something for you. You seem like such wonderful people.
Oh, thank you.
And I know money is a problem. I hate to talk about money, but it's a necessary evil.
Yes, it is.
And I'm wondering if the people that are watching us right now and seeing this beautiful young lady and this beautiful young lady,
Well, thank you.
if you might have some ideas. I'm not suggesting that you mail a check in or or anything like that, but maybe you'd have some ideas as to what we could do. Maybe set up a fund through a bank here in the town of Carver. Because I've known you've done that before for other people. Morgan's maybe run by one of the banks here, or one of the people that are important in town, school, I don't know. If you've got some ideas, email us here at CCAT. I'd love to get your ideas. I don't know if we're going to implement them. I don't know what you're going to say, but I know that these people are worthy people. Everybody is worthy. Everybody needs help from time to time. And if you do need help, then you generally get it. And these bikers are helping. You're not a biker.
I'm not a biker.
Would you like to be?
I don't have time. I have 3 kids.
You have 3 kids?
Yes.
How old are the other 2?
14 and 12.
14 and 12, and she's 9.
She's 9. Soon to be 10.
All girls?
No, my oldest is a son.
Son.
Yeah.
Have they got a problem?
No, it is not a.
It's not genetic?
It is a genetic condition, but it is not something that's passed through families. We were tested for the FOP gene, and we do not carry it. It was just a mutated gene. If Morgan were to someday have children, she has a 50% chance of passing the gene on.
Wow.
And then making it hereditary to her children.
Say that again, FO what?
FOP, it stands for fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva.
I like the initials better.
Yes,
Yeah.
everybody does.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the people? Is there
Well, there is an organization that if people would like to make a donation for research, they can do so at www.ifopa.org. And that is the International FOP Association. And they can make a donation to research and do it through them.
Rich, can we get that on the bottom of the screen? All right. We'll put that on the bottom of the screen, and that's one way that we can help.
Yes.
But wouldn't be helping you directly.
Well, if they find something, it would be.
Yeah.
Because right now there is absolutely no medication, no treatment, nothing that they can do.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know Brian told me about this, and it really didn't have an impact until just now. There's nothing they can do.
No, I just, we try to keep her safe as, like, it could be something as small as someone bumping into her that could cause a flare-up.
Wow.
So we just try to keep her as safe as we can, watch out for cords and people and whatever we can to try and stop any trauma.
How many people did you say had this malady?
700 in the world. Morgan is the second in Massachusetts.
700 in the world. Jeepers creepers. This is I'm really moved by this. I'm an emotional kind of a guy anyway, but this beautiful, beautiful young lady here, I'd like to do anything I could for her. And I'm sure you people sitting at home would too. So again, I would ask you, I would beg you, if you got some ideas, maybe there's a banker out there listening or viewing this, if you got some idea as how we can help the Morgan Fund directly, let me know. The bikers are doing all they can. Let's us do something too. I'll think about it too, but my thought process is not as good as yours. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, I just would like to say that, the bikers that we met, they came out of the blue. We did not know them. They heard about Morgan, and they said we wanted to help. And
How
they
many
came to
Morgans
us.
run the year do they do?
They do one a year,
One a
every
year.
September. Yes.
Every September.
Yeah, and I do feel like they do get a bad rap. They have just taken us right into their hearts, invite us to cookouts.
What do you think of bikers?
Well, the ones that I know,
Would you allow your son to be a biker?
if he wanted to be, yes.
Would you-
I've been on bikes. I just don't have one myself.
After seeing these two guys, though, and what they do, and oftentimes I'm told by my son that they take money out of their own pocket
Yes.
to finance some of these things that they do, without a whimper.
Yeah.
How can you beat that? How can you beat that? For people that are helping people, don't talk to me about bikers anymore when we started this show, I told you that this community was opposed to having bikes in that community, even though the community is over 55. Average age is probably 70. They just want the free spirit thing that my son described. And I just got ticked off. I said, man's home is his castle. What he wants to do, he should be able to do, I think. So anybody that's listening in that community, I'm not naming any names, but you want to come on and rebut this, I would look forward to it. In the meantime, I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
And I have fallen in love with you. When you turn 18, I will give you a quarter. Would you give me a call? All right? You're beautiful. There are not enough beautiful people in the world. And you happen to be one of them. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan. And for you people sitting at home, I'm going to take my leave now. I hope you've enjoyed this show. It's been kind of heavy at some points, kind of light at other points. But however you view it, it's been a great experience for me. And it's been wonderful to meet people like this. I don't get to see this too often, and neither do you. And maybe we should. But these guys that drive these bikes that go vroom, vroom, are out looking for them and doing things for them. For CCAT, I'm Ken Simmons, and I'm going to be back. So don't go away.